Okay, the paper is dry and now we are going to work with the shadows. I have some ultramarine here and I'm going to mix some of it into the previous sky mix. Okay. I don't want to have a completely new color for the shadow, but a little bit of the warmer ultramarine pigment in the mix. Okay. I think I'm going to have some more. Okay. Before we start to put the shadows, we have to think where the sun is. So we have to make the shadows on the straight opposite of the trees. Okay, sun here, tree here, and here is the shadow. Same up here for the other trees. Okay. Here are the, I'm gonna have a smaller brush for that. Okay. Don't need to have to do anything exactly. No one will count the branches. Okay. Yes, I did that a little bit. Be a little bit more straight, okay? Going down there instead. That's a little bit lighter, so I lift. No lines inside of the shadows. The shadows should be whole, one complete shape. Okay, I'm going to make this one. Some, no. You always have to think properly before you make any lines, okay? I'm going to get this here, Okay. Some of these long ones. One shape. We'll lift it a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to make the shadows here. Okay, think about where the sun is. I want a soft edge of this. Okay. Next, this is quite flat, so it's enough to just make a little like that. And a bigger one. Think about where you got the highlights from the sun on the hills, the bumps. Maybe a little bit more. Soften the edges. When you soften the edges, don't go straight into the colored area. Start with the brush outside so you don't get a bloom. Okay. See outside and then touch. Outside and then touch. I think I want some purple as well in here. Okay, this has dried a bit. Just blot the brush. Easy. Easy, easy. Wash your brush and blot. Not a big amount of water in this one. Blot it properly. Here I can see some blooms appearing. Don't want that. Okay. Got a little bump there too. Got my cat here. Okay, a little bit of purple to warm it up a bit at some spots. When you drop in other pigments, be sure that there are equal amounts of water in the two mixes, otherwise you get blooms. So there, and when I put the violet in, I must have had a bit too much water compared to the blue mix. I saw it, so I could go back with a thicker blue to save it a bit. Okay, my cat made me move, so I have to lift a bit there. Got a bump from my cat. Okay. I missed something. The sun is here, behind the trees is here, so not too much of the shadows are visible. The same here, it's not too much, but I think if I should go down a little bit. Now I have to be careful so I don't go in and make lines inside of the shadow. I stay outside carefully. Okay. Maybe a little bit of purple there as well. Oops. Got some water. Okay. I want some grass at some spots sticking up. Okay. Not too wet brush. I don't want to have any big puddles. Okay. Maybe here by the tree. Not too accurate. let the brush dance. Some from behind the tree trunk. You can make some here as well. Don't go inside the shadows now, because maybe you'll get some green shadows on, okay? There are always some grass sticking up from the snow at a few places. Some value change even on the grass straws. Some darks and some lights. Sticking up behind the bump, snow bump. Okay, let's keep it like that, not too much. We'll see when we have taken off the masking medium as well. I think I will make some light thin branches at these back trees. Or do I? No, I don't do that now. I'll leave it till later. I'm going to take off the masking medium. For this you can use rubber cement if you want, but I don't have one. This is quite fun. Never leave your masking medium on for too many days. It will be more difficult to remove. I'm moving the salt as well at the same time at a few spots. Be sure to wash your hands before you start, so you don't get that grease from your hands on the paper in case you want to paint on the surface. And maybe it doesn't stick to the surface, the pigment. careful so it has dried before you touching. So it doesn't get smudged. I think this closed tree need to have some pigment on it, so I'm going to make this into a birch tree, I think. Okay. The tree is backlit, so it has to be light on the sides. And I'm going to put some of this. I'm going to have some Paynes gray, I think. Like this blue, and mix in some Paynes gray here. Okay. Okay, now take some pure Paynes gray. Just drop in a few at the sides. Often birch trees used to tend to be darker at the bottom. Okay, leave it like that. A little darker at the edge there. Sound doesn't reach that far down. Okay. I think I'm going to later on make it a bit darker down here as well. I think it's too light far at the edge, far down. lost some of the light edge there. I can fill it in with a pencil or gouache. Now you have to think about that. I put some Paynes gray in this color mix, because if I had just used this mix, it wouldn't show to the background. Can't use the same pigment on the beside the background. The sky would disappear. Okay. Take some more Paynes gray. More water. The background trees I'm going to leave white. Background branches. When you mask your trees like this, you have a choice of putting color where you want afterwards, or just leave it white. Maybe you want it white at some spots, and you want pigment on in some places, like here. And you have the opportunity to make highlights without using any pencil or white gouache. Just leave the white paper as it is. If I want, I can make other branches as well, just paint them in. I'll leave that to later. A bit darker. Okay. Vary the pigment with a value, not the same everywhere. Okay. I want to soften this edge just a little bit. I'm going to lift some. I use the synthetic brush I have, because it's harder, it's more stiffer. Just soften a little bit. Some pigments tend to be darker at the edges, and you can just lift if you want. Just soften a bit. And it always dries a bit lighter. You can always go in and soften more later on if you want. Once more. You see, you get a softer edge there. Not that obvious edge. I only soften the lower edge, not the upper left, upper side of the edge, not close to the sky side. Only the lower edge of the edge. Okay, I think this lacks a little bit of warm colors, so I'm going to take some permanent rose in the tree trunks, just to warm it up a bit. Okay, just spots. Okay, you can lift if you think it's too much. I will put some darker spots as well on top of this. Remember, it's the artist license. You can make it the way you want. I don't like too little color. I want color. Okay, I'm gonna put some darks with Paynes grey. Remember where the light side is. Here you can use a plastic card as well, if you want to. Just so you get rid of the round shapes. Oops. Use the Paynes grey thick. Don't make even shapes. The brain wants it to be exact, same space between the dots all the time, but so you have to think about it. Sometimes you can also drop in some water if you want, to let the pigment move by itself. Think a little bit about the shapes. The further down you go, the more happy you shape the marks like a happy mouth. And up here it's the opposite. So you get some marks that are showing the how high or low it is from where you see it when you're looking up or on the tree. You see, happy, sour. You see it's getting better now when we get more color on the paper. We have to take away this masking medium as well. But I couldn't do that earlier because this pigment here was wet. It's dry now. Okay, I want some dark spots on this as well. Some dark and some lighter. I can take this masking medium too. I can't put the masking medium on the floor because my cats gets it in their fur, licks it up. Okay. Same here, we can lift some if we want. Take my synthetic brush again, just soften some of the edges a little bit. I don't want it sharper here, I want it about the same as the rest of the shadow. You can press with a dry paper as well. If you think you need it. If you lose any of the white lines, you can always take some white gouache later on. Just wet it a little bit with a moist brush. See, it gets a little bit softer. You can soften here too as well if you want. Be very careful, just a little bit. It's much better to go slow, one piece at a time. Oh. You see how hard this edge is compared to this now? Doesn't need much. Okay. You see from the beginning the pink color showed a lot, but when you put the Paynes gray on top, it doesn't show as much. So it's good to make it a bit more for it to show after you put the darks on top. It just gives a little bit of more warmth in the picture. I think it lacks a bit soft valleys in this, so I'm going to make this very thin. You can always work in layers, put more on top when it's dry if you want to. Okay, I'm going to put some softer spaces. Okay, go from here into the edge just to soften. You wet the outside, see? Then you go close to the edge, just touching, not on top, just touching, so the pigment will flow out into the wet area. This way you can, oh, I don't like that hair. This way you can leave some the edge at some spaces if you want it to be more hard edged at some places. Okay, from out in. I want it soft all around. From outside and go in, just touch. Just barely touch the pigment edge. Okay, you see you get a very soft valley. Okay. It would look strange if you only had these bumps in the snow, nothing else. I want to have a little where the grass is growing. Oh, these cat hairs. Okay, from outside and going in, barely touching, just barely. You could wet the area first and then put in some pigments in it. That is also one way of doing it. But I think it's, if I want to have the option of leaving the edge hard, sharp at some places, it's better not to wet beforehand. I can instead do like this, just drop in some darker if I want. Okay, I don't want to have ugly watermarks, so you better watch for them too. I can go, when this is dried again, I can go in and make some hard lines with the shadow if I want. And the higher the bump in the snow, the longer the shadow will be. I go on, make some shadows. So there's not only shadows from the branches and trees, there are shadows where the snow is going down. It's getting deeper in the snow. There you get some shadows as well. It's good to vary, to have some hard shaped shadows and some soft shaped shadows. Okay, I'll get some hard ones as well. Just drop in some water to soften some of the edges. Drop in some pigment. Oh, some water, I mean, sorry. Let the shadow show the, there I get some masking medium. How to do it later on. Don't let this shadow cross that shadow. The shadow has to be made once, so the shadow doesn't have any lines in it. Okay. Remember, if you have the tree and where the shadow from the tree is going to be painted, if there is a bump or a hole, the shadow has to follow the bump or the hill, and the shadow gets not straight. If you have a straight shadow, there is a straight ground. There's no hills or bumps or valleys of any sort. The shadow always follow the ground shape. Maybe there have been some kids playing in the snow. You can see where they have put their foot. So that makes shadows as well. I'm going to put some here, make that soft. Remember what I said in the middle of the shadow. You can always, when it has dried, put it darker in the middle, for example. So. But the shadow must be completed. It can't be several shadows painted on top of each other. It has to go in properly inside each other. The painted layers. Okay, I want it to be a bit darker here. Some more ultramarine. And wet so it melts together. And a bit on top. I want the edge to be soft. Soft. And remember what I said about the painting double shadow. That's why I stop here, so I don't go on top of this. Same here. Here I am gently going these two shadows one shadow from the stone and this shadow here. I have to make them one shadow. Cannot look like two shadows. Okay. Okay, I want some more ultramarine. Mix with a blue. Make this deeper as well. More visible. Okay, from outside, in, outside, in to the edge. Put some more in to get it deeper. This time I use a bit thicker paint. Just lift some of the paint at the edge there. Okay. I'm watching for watermarks. I don't want them. Okay. This is a little bit more of the ultramarine, a little bit cobalt. Oops, that was a lot. Outside and then close to the edge. I have my companion here again, one of my cats. Can you see here I have violet at the top here, closest to the yellow, as it is opposite in the color circle, color wheel. Okay, you can have some here as well. I don't want large empty spaces. So I keep the brush on the paper all the time. I don't lift. If I want a soft edge, if I want a hard edge, I can lift. Okay, I think I will go on with the tree. I'm thinking that I want to make these branches on the closest trees darker, and I'm gonna see how it looks like leaving the trees behind white. That's my plan at the moment. Okay, and then I want to have some Paynes gray. I think I'm going to turn this upside down to not put the I don't want to put my hands on the wet paint. I am leaving a small edge here, light. It's the sunlit side of the branches. Okay, I need to have it darker than the sky color. Just fill in if you want it darker sunspots. You can paint second time. Don't leave the white edge on every branch and on the whole branch, because some of the branches are behind other branches and won't get the sunlight. You have to look all the time when you paint to see where you can fill in the dark pigment completely. This way of painting is not for the artist without patience. I think this is mindfulness. Like it. Vary the darkness as well, so you don't get the same amount of dark in the branches. Make few spots that's darker, few lighter spots. Turn the paper when you need. And look for the sunlight. Where is it? What side it needs to be dark? What side needs to be light? Okay, I have this I need to paint too. Mhm. Try to keep the white area thin, not broad white marks. It is more believable if it's thin. Or you can make some extra dark brushes as well while you do this, if you want to. You can always use a white Posca or jelly pen afterwards to make the whites, if you need to make whites somewhere. Turn sometimes to see what you've done. Okay, we'll do this. Let's see here. Nothing more. Okay, I'm going to do this. By the way, I have sent for a microphone, so I will get it in a few days. I hope it's gonna be good for my sound. Now I have only the mic on the mobile phone. It's okay, but I think it's going to be better with a proper mic. And drop in some extra dots. Try to vary. The brain wants it to be even. So you have to work against your own brain. Turn and have a look. You can let a few branches be very thin color as well, so they kind of disappear in the sky blue. If you want to. drop in some more few spots so it doesn't look too too stiff, or what to say. Not too plain. Maybe it's called not too plain. Fill in a bit to make it a little bit darker. And always paint the bronze wider at this stage. And even make the tree trunk darker at some spots. A few more branches. Put in your spots. To vary the color. These branches left. Okay, just a little bit left here. And a few spots. I think it looks nice with these white branches in the background. I think I will take a little bit of permanent rose. I wanted it to be a little bit more visible. I think it's getting closer to the end. You go on working with your branches if you think you need, and I will show you my complete painting at the end. I have to look at it a little bit. We all need to back away from the painting and look with clean eyes. Maybe the day after, couple of days after. Look at it from a distance maybe. Don't overwork.